Hey everybody, happy Wednesday evening live tutorial stream. Welcome back to twitch.tv/beading dream as we begin a new week of streaming with our charming leather bracelet class. Now, normally I would put a picture of that up on the screen right now, but it would not download. So, yeah, you're just going to have to use your imagination and enjoy the reveal at the end of the tutorial. So, charming leather bracelet is basically a way to integrate, integrate chain and charms and leather all into one cool project. Oh, what are you looking? What are you looking at, camera? That's not what you should be looking at. So, nope. Okay, there. All right, so this is our charming leather bracelet. So it's an integrated bracelet with chain, charms, and when I say charms, I'm talking about both actual charms that come with a, okay, I could definitely not deal with the sauerkraut soup, but the garlic sausage, like, I'm totally on board. So once again, Heather and I will be in the car and on the way to Canada shortly. So for my charms, I'm going to do 3 different techniques for y'all tonight. I'm going to do charms with a jump ring, I'm going to do top drilled charms, and I'm going to do center drilled charms. So the way that this bracelet is constructed, it's just a length of chain attached to a length of leather on either side. I'm going to attach a clasp using cord ends. So let's talk about tools and supplies for this evening's tutorial, which is now on the floor. Oh, the sausage was in the soup. Oh, I don't know if I can get on board with that, Lori. I'm sorry. Like, despite being a good German girl, cannot do sauerkraut. Not my thing. Cabbage of any flavor.
I don't have Allison's portion. Me too.
Yes. Well, yeah, but the soup had garlic sausage in it, so you can't.
I can't. Oh.
So I'm sorry, Lori. I think in this case, it's all you. I would pick the sausage out of the soup and eat it. I just wouldn't eat the rest of the soup. But apparently Diane and Heather have volunteered to take my portion of sauerkraut for all eternity.
Ask her to put that recipe up in Discord.
Ooh, yes, Lori, can you put that recipe up in Discord? And there's a cyclone coming for you in Illinois? Oh my gosh. Like, come back down here to Texas. We had Tornado Thursdays for a hot minute there, but nobody ever got blown away, so. All right, let's talk about supplies and tools for this afternoon's, this evening's, whatever, tutorial. I cannot be this tired. It's only Wednesday. This is what happens when you work all day on both your days off. You turn into a sludge. Okay, so you're gonna need some chain, and I have some just nice large length gold-plated chain. You're gonna need some leather. You probably need about 2 feet. I've got a little bit more than that because, of course, I'm always overestimating. You need an assortment of beads and charms, which I have. Julie, you're on our Discord, right? We have a recipe stream, so Lori's going to post that in the recipe stream. So you're going to need some charms and beads, and then you're going to need some findings. So to make your charms and beads into actual usable things for your bracelet, you are going to need some head pins, you're going to need some wire, you're going to need some jump rings, jump rings, and then you are, in order to finish your bracelet, you're going to need cord ends, clasp, and a split ring or a soldered ring. So that's your finishing set right there. So let's go ahead and start by attaching our leather onto our chain, and then we're going to attach our charms onto that. But it's a lot easier, I find, to attach your charms if you've got more stuff to hold onto. trying to attach them on kind of your free-floating chain is possible. It's totally doable. It's just a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to start by taking my leather, and I'm just going to cut it in half. All right, and then I'm going to tie a barrel knot. Eep. Let's try not to disconnect all of my things while I'm moving my knee. I'm going to tie a barrel knot in my leather at the end of my chain. So I'm going to take my leather, and so I started with, let's see, what are you? So I started with about 4 feet that I cut it in half. So I'm going to take my leather through my chain, like so, even it up. And then I'm going to tie a barrel knot. So what that means is I'm going to take my 2 cords and I'm going to put them parallel. Then I'm going to take one of them and I'm going to start wrapping it around the other back towards my chain. So I'm going from right to left with this cord, and I'm going to do 3 wraps. So 1, 2, 3. So I'm kind of holding these wraps with my index finger and my thumb, and then I'm going to take my end and I'm going to go back up through my wraps away from my chain, and then I'm going to pull that tight. But when I pull it tight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that all of these wraps kind of stay in order so that when I pull on it, it makes a nice barrel shape. And so here you can see there's like an X here. That's no bueno. That means those wraps have gotten reversed. Better. Okay. So once you've got it all straightened out, you're going to go ahead and pull. You want this to be nice and tight. So you want a nice tight little barrel shape, and then if this loop is a little bit too big for you, just pull on the long string to tighten that up. Then we can go ahead and trim this off, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on that at the end of the project just to make sure it doesn't come off. There we go. Okay, so your average bracelet for a woman is 7 inches. So I'm going to go with, hi Corvus! Yes, we're playing with leather and chains today. So definitely lots of fun on the Beading Dream stream. So your average bracelet for a woman is going to be 7 inches. Now, that's obviously variable depending upon the size of the wrist of the person for whom you're making it. But if you're just making it for the generic female audience, 7 inches is a good length. So don't forget that your clasp is going to add some length to your bracelet. So when you're figuring out how much you need as far as leather and chain length goes, don't forget that this is going to add. And so if I put this on my ruler, survey says that's going to add about 3/4 of an inch. So if I'm going for a 7-inch bracelet, mine is, hi Silver, how are you? That's what she's, right? Sorry, I'm just checking something on the interwebs. So bear with me for a moment. But don't forget that, don't forget how to type on your iPhone. Yeah, don't forget that the clasp is going to add, so about 3/4 of an inch. So from 7-inch length, we're down to 6 1/4 because the clasp is going to add about 3/4. And then we're going to divide that by 2. 6 1/4 divided by 2 is going to be 3 1/8. Yes! Ha ha! Awesome! I'm so glad. That's literally what I was checking. I'm so glad that it got there, Silver. Did you open it? Because I don't think you were supposed to open it. I think it's supposed to be a surprise. Also, where is Dogsy in the world? Where in the world is Dogsy?
Because it isn't here.
Well, he isn't here, obviously. He wasn't coming here. But the box made it.
Good.
So, they can only see your elbow.
It's a really good elbow, though.
I know, but don't elbow me. Look, it's a Heather. Hi. So Heather's in charge of the game for tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing something that involves sculpting and clay.
It needs a name, though.
Smoosh, smoosh, smoosh.
Okay, good. So what did you think, Silvern?
Hi, Supergirl. Ah, you opened it? Okay, yes. What do you think? 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 Yay!
Sorry, that was creepy.
We're always creepy.
We're always creepy.
Yay! Yay, yay, yay.
Super, I'm currently working on your bracelet, actually.
That's awesome. I'm so happy. Well, and I'm working on editing videos because I did take creation videos of both of those pieces, but I have not edited them yet into the proper, format to be shown, because right now they're just all like, which isn't quite what I was looking for. So
a little bit how I am too.
Yeah, I know, it's like the Muppet flail of videos.
Yes.
But now that Silver's gotten her Prezi, I will post those videos probably in a couple of days on Discord. Okay, so
Also, just so you know, he planned plenty ahead.
he did. I just suck. Really.
There
And
were people yelling at you because Doxy doesn't yell.
and also the Postal Service.
Also that.
Not my friend, because it was supposed to get there yesterday, and yet it did not. For some reason, everything that I dropped off at the post office before noon on Monday has been delayed by a day. Like, what the heck?
Laurie, the soup sounds really good. I'm definitely going to try it.
All right, Diane says she's definitely trying the soup.
I'm not going to use garlic.
Awesome. Okay, continuing on with the project. All right, so I've tied my leather onto one side of my chain. Okay, well that's good. I'm glad that everything worked out, but I was still mad as heck at the post office. I was less mad when Dogsy told me that he missed his flight, but I was afraid I was like ruining y'all's, once upon a time in LA moment. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I've got my cord through my chain, and then I'm going to pinch it here. I'm going to twirl back towards my chain and then back up and through. So make sure you leave yourself enough extra. And you're going to go around once. So I'm moving back towards where my chain is. So right to left once. Dang it. Let's try that again, shall we? Once. And twice. And thrice. Also, Silver, I really hope that the ring fits him because it's a little bit of a snug size 13. So I will admit to having anxiety nightmares about that. Okay, so then I'm going to go up through. And I might need a tweezers for this. Let's see if we can do it with just my bare hands. Wow, 9 months later. So we actually had a post office sorting facility here in Dallas in Capel, which is like the main distribution center for things going from Dallas to elsewhere, that shut down due to, I don't know if it was equipment failure or whatever, but shut down for like almost a month a couple of years ago. And so we had major service disruptions, and then we're just going to pull on that. Oops, not so much. Pull on that to tighten it, and then pull on these too. shrink it down. But I literally had people whose packages were held up in this debacle, and they were like, well, that's just an excuse. You're making that up. That's not actually what happened. Like, and people getting completely shirty with me about the fact that their packages hadn't shown up. And it's like, look, person, I made the label. I took it to the post office. I handed it to a postal worker. Like, there's literally nothing else I can do at this point. But they're like, just people, folks. People are... Speaking of, hi people, there's more people now. Okay, so what I've done is I have attached my leather onto my chain, like so. 2 barrel knots. Now, I did not do a great job of this because this one has 3 wraps, this one has 2, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to go ahead and keep going. So now I'm going to do the attaching of my charms. So I have several different types of charms, so we're going to learn a couple different attachment techniques. I've got my tassel, which comes with a jump ring already on it. That's going to be the easiest one to attach. And same with this one. This one has a jump ring as well. This one we're going to have to wire wrap. This one we're going to have to wire wrap. And this one we're going to have to wire wrap. So let's start with the easy ones. Yeah, I mean, same. I think email Corvus, and then I can forward the button ones onto Julie, and I can forward the other one onto my mother, who is still alive. I haven't killed her yet, but it's touch and go these days. So, all right, so let's deal with the jump ring ones first. Anything that has a jump ring already attached, you know, is worth evaluation. So look at the jump ring, see, is it sturdy? This one is. Does it close well? This one does. So I don't need to replace this one. Now, if it was particularly skinny, flimsy, or had a bad closure, you know, then I would replace it with a different one. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with this jump ring, so there's no reason for me not to actually use it on my finished piece. That means I'm going to go ahead and use my chain nose pliers and open up my jump ring like so. And I think I'm going to put this one right in the middle. Yeah, so I wound up, put that there, and I'm going to close it up. So yeah, I wound up spending most of Sunday and a good portion of Monday working on Dogsy and Silver's beautiful jewelry pieces so that I could get them shipped out so that they would be in LA by Tuesday, which did not happen because USPS, you suck. But yes, so I had to cancel lunch with my mother, and not only did I have to cancel lunch, I had to ask her to meet me at the movie theater for the movie we were going to see. That did not go over well at all. She still met me at the movie theater because that was the only option I gave her because I had to keep working. But yeah, there was a whole lot of guilt going on about her having to meet me at the movie theater instead of me picking her up and chauffeuring her to the movie theater. Hee hee. Hi, Keiko. I know, how could I, Corvus? I'm the worst daughter. I mean, we're actually only like halfway through. I'm running a little late, shockingly. Okay, so charm has a jump ring already attached. That's what you do. Same with this tassel. Has a jump ring already attached. So once again, we're going to open it. I know, Silver, it's like, are you actually a toddler? Because you're acting like a toddler, but then I really remember it's my mother and she always acts like a toddler. So tassel, same thing. But right, Corvus, how could I? How absolute dare I ask her to drive her perfectly functioning car on roads that she knows to a mall that she visits frequently to meet me? It's terrible. Ha ha! Oh God, Corvus, don't I wish. I mean, do you want her? I can ship her to you. Do you want to? I mean, Heather's her favorite daughter, but
Santa.
you can be her second favorite daughter. I'll ship her to you. She will not fit in a flat rate box. It's true. But that's true. Sam, well, I don't know. Because you weren't here yesterday when because Mom admired Sam's signs on the door. And so when Sam got here and Mom was in the back, I was like, go back and say hi to Mom because I figured Mom would be like, hey, Sam, your signs look great. But instead, Mom just like, Sam said hi, and Mom didn't even apparently turn around from her work and just said hi. And Sam was like, it's nice to see you. And she was like, yeah, nice to see you too. And that was it. Like, what is the, what? What is wrong? Broken. The emotional bits are broken. Oh gosh, San Jose. Yeah, we are definitely, we're not really burning in hell, we're steaming in hell here in mid-Texas, I think, because there's so much humidity. Okay, so I've got two things on here. Now we're going to go with the wire wrappy bit. So we're going to start with the simple wire wrap, which is going to be this cross. So we're going to put that on a head pin, and so this is a basic wire wrap loop. So anyone who's been hanging around here for any decent length of time knows that I love my basic wire wrap loops. And I think that it is legitimately one of the most useful things that you can learn. So I'm going to start with my round nose pliers, and I'm going to hold them, touching the top of the bead, and I'm going to push away and rotate back up over the top and rotate underneath, and there we go. That's our lady with a scarf. Now I'm going to link this onto my bracelet, so I'm going to put it, I think, on this link here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that chain back so that I have this link kind of sticking out, and then I'm going to thread this up the wire and into the loop. Wow, we're not even that bad, Corvus. I think we're only supposed to top out at like 101 or 102. Hi, Sophia. I guarantee you it's not 115 where Sophia lives. Hold across your loop and wrap. Oof. Yes, I'm having a swim party on Sunday for my birthday, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be so hot. 64 in Wisconsin. Oh, goodness.
I would love that right
now. Oh, Sophia, I feel like you might have a couple of house guests on the way. So, I know you've told me this before, but where are you now? Like, I know you're back south, but like where south? In relation to like Milwaukee and Madison. I'm going to trim that and then tuck that in. And yet, climate change is fake. Got it, Caledonia, cool. Awesome. Yeah, so if you ever need to like go to my dad's for dinner, they're in Brown Deer, so that's probably a 30 to 40 minute drive for you. What?
Worth it for your dad's cooking.
Yeah, seriously.
Just go pick up some.
Yeah, just straight up I-43.
Sriracha?
Oh yes, I finished one bottle of my my dad's homemade sriracha. So I've got to make the other one last until December, which is pretty on point because I got them both in December. So I think that should be good. But if the man does not show up to Galveston with sriracha, he will be in Lay Dog House. Okay, so that's my center drill wire wrap. Now I'm going to do my top drill wire wraps. So top drill wire wraps, ouch, are made with wire instead of head pins. I'm going to use 26 gauge wire depending on your beads. You might have to use 28 gauge if they're really small. You could use 24 gauge if they are heftier. So I got 2 top drill wire wraps, so I'm going to actually start with my teardrop because that's the one that's more like what we've done before. He does not grow his own. He just finds them whenever they happen to have them at one of the local markets. He'll get a couple of pounds of them because you can cut them up, chuck them in the vinegar and salt brine, and then, you know, just kind of let them sit for a minute. And of course this sriracha itself doesn't really, if you keep it in the fridge, doesn't really go bad particularly quickly. So he will, you know, strike while the iron is hot, and then because it's Fresno peppers are what we use to make our homemade sriracha, which, by the way, I'm the one who gave him that recipe. By the way, like, I bent him to my will, turned him into my own personal sriracha maker, but it was my recipe originally. Eep. Well, making it from scratch, Lori, is not that difficult, actually. So you can make it with Fresno peppers, or you can make it with red jalapenos, which I don't know if you get those in Canada, but they're basically just jalapenos that have ripened to red. Are you kidding me? Oh my Lanta. It's actually a really good recipe, so if you want me to post it on Discord, I will. Yeah, Fresno peppers, Corvus, or red jalapenos, which you can get red jalapenos at the Mexican markets here. I don't know if you can get red jalapenos other places. Okay, I will do that in between streams. But Fresno's is actually what the recipe calls for. I mean, they're called Fresno peppers. I don't know if they actually grow where you are, Corvus. That would be interesting to know. I keep trying to grow them and failing, but I do have jalapenos that I can just let over ripen on the vine, or on the tree plant thing. Okay, so I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to bend it up against the holes of my beads. So Julie, I think what we're saying is that you can have a very lucrative side hustle shipping sriracha to Canada and making a tidy markup. So yes, so I feel like there's a way we can all benefit from this. Okay, so I bent my wires against the holes in my bead to make a triangle, and I'm going to grab my longer wire at the point of the triangle, and I'm going to bend it up so I've centered it up against the, or in. Tabasco brand sriracha does exist. I don't like it quite as much. Okay, well, to be fair, the homemade sriracha is the best. And then, like, the regular Hoi Fong sriracha is next best, and Tabasco sriracha isn't bad, but it's definitely not my first choice. But I will post the recipe in Discord between streams. So we're going to go ahead and wrap the short wire around the long wire 1.5 times. I'm going to say, I don't think the shortage has hit us yet either, so maybe I should invest in some sriracha commodities. Trim that up and press it down. Let go, let go. Thank you. Alright, so now you've made a bead on a stick. I know it's so bright. I'm sorry. I mean, I feel like you can't ever have too many sriracha adjacent products, personally. Yeah, it's... climate change is a thing. Despite all of the yakety yak to the contrary, things are changing and getting weirder. Okay, so now I'm going to do my basic wire wrap loop. So I'm going to take my round nose pliers and place them so that they're touching the top of my wrap. And we're going to go away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate underneath. This is an abalone drop, Keiko. It's very pretty. And then I'm going to take that and string it onto buttonless and topic tonight. Hot sauce is fair. Alright, so I'm going to put it on this one. So I'm just going to thread that on there. Pop that in, make sure that loop is completely around that link of the chain, and then we're going to hold across with our chain nose and we're going to wrap. And you're going to wrap until you meet the end that's already there, and then you're going to trim and press it in. Ta-da! Alright, now I've got one more top drilled wire wrap to do, and that's going to be my crystal point here. So same top drilled wire wrap, but I wanted to show y'all how you kind of adapt it when you got a big point at the top from that. So you're going to go ahead and put your wire through. You do the same thing that you did with your teardrop. You're going to bend your ends against the hole of your bead to make a triangle. And what you want to do is you want to try and form that triangle to the top of your point. You're going to grab the long one with your chain nose and bend it up so that it centers along the central axis of your bead. So at this point, if you were to draw a line up the center of your bead, it should just extend and this wire should be on it, you know, up until it starts kind of curving and curling away. So now I'm going to wrap the short wire around the long wire just 1.5 times. Like so, and then trim it off and tuck it in. So Corvus, this is exactly the same as our regular top drilled wire wrapping. There's nothing different about this because this point has a hole in it. If it was a point without a hole, then we would be dealing with a different technique, of course. All right, so now we're going to do our basic wire wrap. And so we're going to grab with our round nose pliers, excuse me, right where that wrap is, and we're going to go again away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate, and underneath. Again, we have our lady with the scarf loop, and I'm going to go to my last link over here. So when you're adding things onto chain links, you want to make sure that you're always adding them onto the links that are facing the same direction, which means basically you skip a link in between, or 2 links or 3 links in between each charm. So I'm going to skip this one, I'm going to go to this one. I just want to make sure that I hang it on the same side as I've hung all my other charms, and the way that you do that, or the way that's easiest for me, is to grab it and fold it back so that now there is literally no way I can put this on the wrong side. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to slide it up that loop. Woo! Missed it. There we go. And pop that on. There we go. And then we're going to hold across that loop with our chain nose and we're going to wrap. Well, that's just practice, Corvus. So we're going to wrap until we get down to the end that's already there. Seriously. It's like 10% technique and 90% practice. And then we're going to trim. Right there. All right, and then I'm going to take my end and I'm going to press it down. Now, if you want to, at this point, all right, so this is our little center charm station section for our bracelet. You can put more charms on if you wanted to. But that's what I'm going to do for tonight. So now we just need to finish our bracelet. So don't forget that 7 inches is a good average size for a woman. So that means that from the center here, I want to measure 3.5 inches out on either side, but my clasp is going to add a little bit of extra length, so I want to go ahead and knock off about 1/2 inch, so we're going to do 3.25. So from, and sorry, my stupid thing won't switch to my face cam, but so from here in the center, I'm going to measure out 3.25 inches and 3.25 inches. Oh, Keiko, that was not what I meant. Twisting my words. You people. All right. So if you want to, you can make some decorative knots up this side. I'm not going to do that this evening because we're running a little short on time, but you can, you know, that amount of cord that I quoted you for the beginning of this class is going to give you plenty of extra. This is really annoying. Nope, just won't change the scene. Okay, so we're just stuck with this for now. Alright, so I'm just going to match that up and cut the same length, and then I'm going to attach my clasp using my cord ends. Alright, so now I've got my 2 cord ends. So these are fold over cord ends. These are extremely useful when you're working with leather. So I'm just going to take my cord ends and lay my cord inside my cord end, and then use my chain nose pliers to bend that cord end down. Now when you're doing this, you want to bend down one side, like so, and then bend down the second side, like so, and then smash the whole thing flat. If you just try and smash it without bending one side before the other, you're going to wind up with a giant mess. You can do the same thing on the other side. So 1 and 2. And smash. All right, and the last thing I'm going to do is attach my clasp, which I've got a split ring and a lobster claw with jump rings, and I have 2 jump rings that are the same size, so we're going to use those. All right, so once again, when you're using jump rings, and I've said this before about 1,000,000 times, you want to make sure that when you're opening them that you twist them so that you preserve the circle, but you still make space. And we're going to attach that to my cord end, attach that to my clasp, and then close it. Make sure when you close it that there's no airspace between those 2 ends. And then on the other side, I'm going to attach a split ring. You could also attach a soldered ring if that was what you had. But you want to make sure that it's a closed ring that's the end of your construction. So I've got my open jump ring. I'm going to drop that onto my cord end and my split ring. And then I'm going to go ahead and close that up. Maybe. making sure once again that it is closed nice and securely. And that is it. Will it show me my face? It will not show me my face. So we're just going to do it in this scene. That's it. That's our charming leather bracelet. So it's really a fun little mixed media project. It's a great way to use leftovers, leftover scraps of leather, leftover scraps of chain. You know, I've got one of this, one of that, etc. So it's a really fun project for all of that. So that was the charming leather bracelet. We will be back on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream, in about 15-20 minutes with our podcast, The Button List. And Heather and I will be playing a game that involves sculpting. So I'm going to tell you right off the bat that she's going to win.
Not necessarily. I'm not that great either.
So hopefully we'll see everyone back here.
Both hilariously bad. That was my idea.
All right, hopefully we'll see everyone back here in about 20 minutes for the button list. I used a lobster claw and split ring, yes, Keiko, but you could use any clasp. You could use a toggle, you could use a hook and eye, whatever you happen to have on hand. Thank you, Corvus. All right, so we'll see you back on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream. In 15 to 20, I'm going to restart everything, so that's definitely going to take a minute, but we will be back with the Button List podcast in just a few. So everyone, grab yourself a cocktail, hydrate, take a bathroom break, have a snack, and we'll see you all in a few. Bye! It won't do anything. Yeah, it's just stuck. Okay, bye. Oh, that's awesome. Nothing will toggle, nothing will click.